Okay, so we are 2 days out. Did pictures this morning. It's kind of frustrating and hard for me to look at the pictures because I still feel like I'm trying to save my body from last week's peak. But you know, I'm not trying to stress too much. We still got carb up and put food in. So obviously let's just roll with the plan we have in place. Like, I basically planned it out myself, and then got Mike here just kind of overlooking and also relayed it to Tom. And Tom's kind of on the same pages as me with the way we're gonna load today. So I'm kind of like almost, you know, putting my own swing on things and then just kind of relaying it to Tom. And then obviously Mike's here and we'll kind of gauge it after 3 meals. But we're gonna load pretty heavy today and just start the loading process. Gonna train again as normal. I still feel like I need to bring my body back to life, so that's the plan. I'm gonna get meal 1 in nice and early because I plan for around 7 meals today. Bear in mind we still got to make weight tomorrow, so we have to kind of bear that in mind in a sense. But yeah, let's start the loading process and just go from there. So we're gonna show you what meal 1 is and pretty much take it from there. So we're off to Tim Hortons to go get some muffins because we need to fill the tank. So muffin time, back in the day, sticking to what we know, right? So gonna have a muffin with meal 1 and pre-workout. Just going back to what I know has worked in the past to try and get it right, or somewhat right this time. Or, you know, like I said, I don't think it's the perfect situation to be in. Going into shows is so, as my body's still kind of trying to get back to normal after the last show, but we're gonna roll with it, put a plan in place and just try watch it all come together. So muffin time. So getting in my mono supplements, like I said, keeping it all the same. So always bring my AD everywhere with me, Project AD. Actually gonna do a couple servings of Matador with my meals because my carbs are going up today. So I'm gonna do 2 capsules with every meal of Matador, and the Ravenous, serving of Ravenous probably with every other meal to help digest the food. So let's get these in. I'm gonna get meal 1 in and show you what we're eating.
Tim Hortons coffee is good. And I like my coffee, and that's good shit.
So, meal 1's going to be 150 gram cream of rice. We've got 1 banana, doing 20 grams of whey, 20 grams of isolate, and then 20 grams of honey. Going to mix this together. I always put it in the freezer because I just like it cold. Mix it all together and 1 muffin with this meal. Probably gonna do 3 meals and go train, so we're just gonna pretty much show you what we're gonna eat throughout the day because we're planning on 7 meals today, but we will maybe adjust it after meal 3. So we're gonna basically do these 3 meals, take some pictures, have Mike have a look at me, and then just go from there. So 20 grams of honey on there. grams, and then I think I'm gonna go chocolate muffin. A few rounds of pink salt. 1, 2, 3 there. And do you think I got chocolate? Yeah. What do you think? I think chocolate.
Yeah, chocolate.
Chocolate for a change and blueberry pre-workout, because blueberry might be lighter on the stomach.
Yeah, keep telling yourself that.
Supposed to be that 1 muffin, I'll be like, right, it's fine, the biggest one.
Yeah, it's just still 1.
Yeah.
that it's worth about 4 of those, but that's besides the point. It's still actually one muffin.
That's what we do with like apples now. Biggest apples and biggest bananas. I went and bought a brand new rice cooker here, and then I realised that they already had a bigger one here. So that was my little diet brain nightmare. So I'm gonna just cook a kilo of rice. So secret of rice, whatever you put in grams, put double the amount of water. So 1 kilo of rice, 2 kilos of water. Meal 2. So do 3 meals in train. So this is meal 2 going in. So we're gonna do 350 grams of cooked jasmine rice. It's about 115 carb. And then we'll do 150 grams of shrimp, and then 10 grams of oil. So 115 carb, probably like 10 fat. It digests really well. So then we're gonna do one more meal as a pre-workout meal, then we'll train, take some pictures post-workout, see if we've brought this body back to life somewhat. What's like real strange is I'm like seem to be really hard from the back and just lacking, and I'm really hard in my midsection. I'm just lacking detail in my legs, which is in my quads more than anything, which is kind of strange for me, but it is what it is. So try to get that back. So this is the shrimp from Crave. They're kind of broken. Not sure how well we can cut maybe. Like broken, like. So yeah, so we got 150 grams of shrimp. To be honest, I'm not even going to heat it up. It's not good. Boom. So that is next meal. 350 white jasmine rice, 150 shrimp, and 10 grams of oil. I take 2 matadors with this, eat this, got to salt it, so using a little bit of low salt, again, not much, and then just 3 cranks of sea salt. Okay, so I'm just having meal 2 now, it's 11 AM here. I have meal 3 at 1, train at 2. So I'll probably get pictures to like 3 PM, between 3 and 3:30 PM. So pre-workout meal, same as meal 1. We've got 150 gram rice, 1 banana, 20 grams of whey, and a muffin, and 20 grams of honey. I'm gonna eat this, then go train. I've never ever gone into a show trying to push mad amounts of foods. Ever. So this time one.
Yeah, so
I'm just like, fuck it, let's just see what happens.
yeah.
So what's the best outcome from the show for you?
Fuck knows. Let's just take this show as it comes. Because the thing is, we haven't had much time between the Arnolds. So basically, what happened in the Arnolds was we kind of tried to push condition too much, and I'm straight up, we directed way too hard. And then we left the body kind of just flat, and probably the direct's still in my system now. So we've kind of we don't really have time to rebound into any shows because it's literally 6 days. The show at the Arnold's was Sunday, it's now Thursday. you know what I mean? So it's 4 days ago. So obviously we don't have time to really like rebound, you know, and obviously with a rebound you then to put on a bit of water, but because of the flying we kind of didn't want that to happen. So we got here and now it's a case where like we're crazy flat, so we just gotta like try and do whatever we can to fill up. Obviously like it could have been different if we didn't say come into the Arnold super flat, but we did try to push the condition with the Arnolds and this was the outcome. So obviously in another situation, you know, I could have come in like full for the Arnold and then this was would kind of been a cruising show, but because of the Arnold outcome, we're just trying to almost like rectify this show, but we don't really have that much time. So it's almost like this show's just going to be like go with the flow and just try to do the complete opposite of what we did for the Arnolds. And like if it works, it works. If it doesn't, then we know we can find a happy medium. So I'm just going to take the show as it comes and just not really think too much about it. Mike's got something to say.
Yeah, but the thing is though, you can cope with that. I always say to people, if they're doing a show and there's something in between, you know, they got their target show, or shall I jump into that show? And I always say, yes, but what if you don't place that well? Can you cope with it? No. Then, because I want to win it, then don't do the show. But for you, it's like, right, okay, we're going to go for it, and then if it doesn't work, it doesn't work. You know, you're prepared to try it. And I think that's the difference. And then when you find, you know, when you get that happy medium or this works or whatever, then it's like, right, okay, now I can go for it and I want to win this show.
That's the thing. It's like even when I speak to Tom today, I was basically saying like, look, this is how I've looked this show 3-4 weeks out, this is how I looked this show 3-4 weeks out, and I know that when I put it together and when it does come together one day, whether that be Saturday this year, next year, I know that that'll be very, very competitive and it will be a dangerous look. But right now I just need to find that secret, like not a secret, that's that formula for me of getting it right, because that I've still not found, and I've been bodybuilding for like 10 years and I've still not found that method. And I feel like this time I'm having to change and try different things, and that's why I want to do a few shows this year regardless of my placings, because I just want to find that method so that I don't have to keep wasting time trying new things and, you know, putting all this effort into shows and not getting the physique displayed how I want it to look. So that's why like I don't really, when someone's like, oh, like, you know, what do you want from the show, I'm just like, you know what, like let's just go with the flow and see what happens and just do the complete opposite, and eventually we'll find it. And when I do find it, I know that it'll be hard to beat.
Yeah, and the thing is, you've already had, even for the Arnolds, okay, it didn't work out as, you know, what you in an ideal world what you would have wanted, but you've still learned from it. But also you've had some positive comments saying, right, you look better than your last show, and you know, so there's already some positives, but it's not quite there yet.
Because that was the feedback from Bill, the head judge. He just said you need to just basically be fuller and nail your peak, which is what we're trying to do. So he said, like, you know, your shape's good, your muscle mass is good, you just need to nail your peak and be fuller. So that's basically what we're trying to do. We just got to find that, like I said, find that formula. And you know, I mean, I have more shows kind of planned after this, but I feel like I do need to give my body, I don't need a mental break because I feel quite fresh still, but I feel like my body will need the time to feed into the next few shows and kind of get rid of, like, balance out almost, and sort of like get back to a sort of stable base before we go into more shows. So luckily the next show that we're thinking about doing is like 5 and 6 weeks away, so we have time to kind of like feed it up, allow it to take some stress off it, like anabolically and that, and then just, you know, go into the next show. So let's just take it show by show, and you know, see how it goes. So we're going to go train now. We did make a few adjustments to our meals just to start to really push it today, because we weigh in tomorrow. So I think if we push it today, we can start the filling up process. We can take the water off tonight. Not doing anything stupid, like very, very moderately, and then we can kind of like either sort of like be very cautious on our first few meals to make the weight, and then just load really hard after, which is probably going to be sort of the plan. But yeah, we're just going to go train now, and then we're going to go watch the hockey tonight. So it's a chilled one. Just done chest and back, one chest, one back. Again, pretty simple, literally 4 sets to pretty much failure. Not going beyond failure, just literally when we start to reach failure or get to failure, then we stop. And literally just putting a little bit of blood in the quads and hamstrings, just try to fill them out a little bit more as well, especially after last weekend. But yeah, we're just doing everything that feels right, but may not necessarily be to the book, you know? Like, I feel like I need to put some blood in my legs, especially after the show, 4 days ago. So that's what I'm gonna do. I've still obviously got Friday, Saturday for them to recover, and we're not doing anything crazy. We're literally just a little pump, a little bit of blood in there, it's not gonna hurt them. Just gonna utilize them cars, push them in the muscle. So, last set, and then gonna run through some posing, have Mike to have a look at me, and then get a meal in. Post-workout meal, 1 banana, 350 rice, and 150 turkey breast.
Yeah?
That's really decent. Yeah, sweet and savoury. Goes together nicely.
Well, it's kind of like peanut butter and red sauce, really. Yeah. So, good. Thank you.
We went to watch the hockey, which was real cool, and then we went back to our car, and our car wasn't there. And we realised it got towed, which those who know me is pretty much every trip I've been on to compete, or with clients, I end up getting my car towed. So we just nipped back to grab my meal. And the funny thing was, is I was meant to nip back to grab my meal because it was in my, I assumed it was in my cool bag, and it wasn't. My meal was in the fridge. So I didn't have to make a meal, but obviously I was gonna head back to the car, grab my meal, and then eat it on the way home. And then I realised that it was, it was in the fridge all this time. So we're gonna head to the towing place now, pick up the car, and then come back. Luckily, it's only about 15 minutes away, and I also have 2 hours to kill in between my meals. So it didn't actually work out that bad, because by the time I picked up the car, I'll end up having my last meal, and then it'll be bedtime. So one way to kill time. So this is meal 6. Can do 7 meals today. 150 turkey and 350 white rice. Nice and simple. While we're at it, we're gonna order an Uber to Buster's Towing Centre. Hey boss, we had our car towed. Plate number is...
Right, the plate number, hang on.
Because we're not from here, we're from the UK.
And it's a hire car.
It's a hire car, so we literally, like, we went to the game to watch the hockey, and we looked at the thing, and in the UK it says like 5 to, like 2 to 5, or 9 AM till 5 PM, and you usually just leave your car there. So we just left the car there, and we went back.
Thought, oh, he might get a ticket, but not, you know.
Yeah. And the funny thing is every time I go abroad, I always get my car towed. I had it towed 3 times in Spain, every single time. I'm just like, I'm immune to it now. I'm just like, for fuck's sake. It's cheaper in the EU as well. So 20 grams of whey isolate. Pretty much the same meal as we did pre-workout, we're just adding in peanut butter. So this is my last meal for bed, so this is meal 7. Like I said, we're loading pretty damn hard today. Gotta make weight tomorrow, so we're kind of thinking the plan is to load heavy today, dry out overnight, and then probably be pretty conservative tomorrow. Keep monitoring the weight, making sure that we're gonna make weight, and then load heavy after, and then dry out again at night. So that's kind of gonna be the rough plan, but kind of depends what we wake up, because to be honest, I have no idea. Like, I was 209 this morning, I was 208 yesterday, so obviously we've got a little bit of room, but we've loaded up fucking heavy today, so no doubt we'll wake up around 212 tomorrow, which is what I want. I'd like to weigh in at around 211, 212. If I can just weigh in, then it gives me a lot of scope and room to push. So that would be the ideal situation, is to wake up around 211. Then we just, monitor a few meals, monitor the weight, and as soon as the weigh-in's done, we load heavy. This meal tastes good.